The Regressed Mercenary has a plan. Chapter 5. Frank surmised if he hadn't enhanced his body with superior mana, his head would be rolling on the floor now. He doesn't know how Ghislaine learned strange swordsmanship. The enemy's look indicates that Ghislaine cannot defeat him because his mana is still weak. His will die here. Meanwhile, Ghislaine smiled while defending against its attacks. Frank is worried about Ghislaine's smile while fighting. As they were fighting, Ghislaine's kick hit them in the face. And this indeed splashed away from Ghislaine. And it boasted that such a weak inheritance would not work for him. Suddenly he felt pain. Frank fell to his knees in pain and vomited blood. He was surprised by what happened. The power of his attack was different now. He doesn't know how Ghislaine exceeded his level of strength. He's never expected there to be a true culprit behind Elena's death. So that's it, and Ghislaine intends to use the third core. Frank was surprised by Ghislaine's strong inheritance. And Ghislaine quickly rushed with two swords. He's fast. And they exchanged powerful attacks again. Meanwhile, Ghislaine launched an unusually strong attack. This is impossible. His hands are turning numb just from blocking Ghislaine's strikes. No matter how much mana, it usually has a limited effect. Because of the strong attack made by Ghislaine, the sword of Frank developed a crack. He never heard of a method that increases mana so explosively like this. It is as if he has become a different person. And Ghislaine attacked again, and his opponent quickly blocked it with a sword. But its sword was broken and he was hit in the chest. While he was surprised by the cut on his chest, Ghislaine attacks again. And he stabbed it in the chest. He just vomited blood. And Ghislaine crushed this with his arm. While he was holding the neck of the opponent, his sword was stabbed here. And Ghislaine wants to finish their conversation from earlier before. Ghislaine asked again who ordered this, but it doesn't easily give up. Frank put a knife in his left hand. This intends to include the young lady in her death. Frank tried to throw the knife at the young lady, but it was stopped by Ghislaine using strange threads. Ghislaine wanted to make a deal. He warned him not to carry out any more useless attacks. If not, he will bury his sword. These threads were created with mana. That's why it can't move. He wondered how to make this. The threads of Ghislaine made from mana. Ghislaine is sure that there are people like this who can heal him. And so that it would not happen, Ghislaine destroyed its mana core. Frank is scared and Ghislaine destroyed its mana core. It did nothing but scream. His mana is scattering. It thinks it has lost its sanity mind. Because one wrong move and the backflow of mana could cause an explosion and blow this whole area away. That's for the unskilled. But Ghislaine knows how to handle this. Ghislaine is not bluffing and he has accepted his death. Meanwhile, Ghislaine saw a skull to him. And Frank shouted in anger. It was Count Desmond. He is the one who ordered this. He said he needed a pretext to start a war against the Pertium and Degard families, so it was Desmond. In his previous life, this kind of underground work was left for the allied families of the ducal house. How did Duke Delphine find the courage to do such a thing? Without behind the scenes, this is why he wanted to kill Elena. And Ghislaine buried his sword that was stuck here. He was shocked by what Ghislaine did. This is different from what he said earlier. He killed plenty in his time. But he's afraid of dying. Ghislaine laughed at this. He hit Ghislaine's head and said that nothing would change even if he killed him. He already finished the work with the Degard. No one will listen to a punk like Ghislaine. And the Pertium will break because of the war. And because of what was being said, Ghislaine grabbed its face. And Ghislaine informed him that he died in a past life and he was reborn. So it will be different this time. And Ghislaine used his mana core again to finish this. The fireworks began to shine in the sky as the light shines in the area. Ghislaine is the only one left standing in the aftermath of the battle. Elena's two guards are lying sprawled on the ground among the dead. Ghislaine looked at Elena and he dropped the sword. And he looked up. Suddenly, he felt a pain. He was brought to his knees by the pain. Exploding 3 cores wasn't an issue at all back when he was the Mercenary King. He looked at the closed building he wanted to destroy. When he entered, he saw 2 bodies. In his previous life, they found another body besides Elena at this place. According to what that guy said earlier, son of Degard, it seems he was killed along with his escort knight. So this is how they silenced them and framed them as Elena's killers. The moment this is revealed, the war will. Ghislaine thought of deleting the evidence. Ghislaine used another firecracker to burn it, and he left with Elena. Meanwhile, there is an unknown person watching them, and it also leaves quickly.